Enemy cruiser sunk.
Hello, Fresh Potato, back with another video, Nerfs and Buffs. We're getting the Nerfs and Buffs in the Black Friday update coming up, so let's get to it. USS Sims buff. Of course, they're going to resell it in some way, right? That's why they want to buff it, right? Buff to the main battery reload, it's going to now be 3.1 seconds. It's getting buffed to the armor, and it is getting a buff to the steering gears, a buff to the superstructures, and of course the stock torpedo range is now going to be 6.99 kilometers. And of course, if you upgrade that, add the commander, you can get it to about, what, 10.5 kilometers now for the Sims. The torpedo alpha damage is now going to be 9,667. German cruiser München, and of course München B, is getting a buff to the main battery range. It's going to be now 14.9 kilometers. Detectability, that's going to be now 11.7 kilometers. Detectability range by air, that's going to be 7.2 or 0.2 kilometers, and detectability range while firing in smoke, that's going to be now 5.48 kilometers. Here we go with these buffs when they want to resell it. When can we get the Njord buff, right? Give us the commander. I will take the Njord B, right? If that means it getting a buff. Where is it? Brisbane and Brisbane B also getting a buff. Buff to main battery reload time. It's now reduced from 4.5 seconds to now 4 seconds. Louisiana, nerf. Nerf to the main battery reload time. It goes now from 30 seconds to 32 seconds. Wow. Wow. But for what? Why? For what? The guns are, it's not what makes this ship overpowered. It's the planes. Okay, I guess. It's also getting a nerf to the airstrike torpedo speed. That's going to go from 55 knots to now 50 knots. Wow. Wow. You know, the problem with these ships, right? The problem with this game, shall I say, is that the people that makes this game, they don't play it, right? They don't play their game. So what do they know, right? What do they know? We know more about this game than them, right? We know that this isn't really a nerf, right? It's nothing. Nothing at all. Wow. Wow. The USS Des Moines getting a unnecessary buff, right? A buff for what? Well, hey, it's a buff to the main battery AP shells. That's going to be increased from 4,500 to now 4,750. Main battery HE shell damage increased from 2,550 to now 2,750. Maybe they're going to resell this too in some way. Only time will tell, right? Only time will tell. The Gdansk nerfed. Nerf to the main battery reload time. It's now increased from 5 seconds to now a 7-second reload. Well, I don't know if that's going to make a big difference. Maybe it will. This seems like a pretty good nerf here. But again, only time will tell. Only time will tell. You're going to see those hot shots out there still getting major damage with this thing, still being annoying with that radar and the smoke, right? They're still going to be annoying, but at least the guns are slowed down a bit, right? Well, not really a bit, because for a destroyer, that's a pretty significant nerf. So maybe this is a good nerf. Only time will tell again. Holland buffed. Finally, the Holland is not useless anymore, right? It's now useful, I guess, maybe. But it's getting a buff to the main battery reload time. It's going from 2 seconds to now 1.8 seconds. Wow. Wow. Torpedo damage increased to now 11,290, and it's finally getting a radar. How, why didn't this thing not have a radar, right? Why didn't this thing not have a radar, right? Makes absolutely no sense. But hey, good for the Holland, right? Good for the Holland. The Gearing and Gearing R. What is the Gearing R? Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of the Gearing R. What is that? What is that? But anyway, Gearing is getting a buff to the main battery firing range. It's now going to be 11.3 kilometers, right? So get your sidestep ready, right? Get your sidestep ready, and whatever commander that thing has, sidestep and what, glass cannon or something like that. Improved smoke generator. That's going to be increased from 2 seconds to now 3 seconds. The duration of the smoke increased to now 30 seconds. Smoke dispersion time increased to now 130 seconds. Cooldown time reduced to now 200 seconds. So here goes the Gearing now, right? The Gearing. Will this be for sale? Again, only time will tell. The Johan DeWitt, the very annoying Johan DeWitt, getting a much needed nerf, right? Much needed nerf to these annoying airstrikes. The reload time will now be 105 seconds until they sell you a commander that will buff that right back, right? That's what we do around here, right? That's what we do, okay? we create the problem and then sell you the solution, okay? Wargaming. Also upgraded airstrike reload time, now increase to also 100 seconds. I guess airstrikes all around, right? Airstrikes accuracy reduced, percentage of bombs falling near the center aim point is now going from 66% to now 50%. So maybe that'll help, right? Maybe that'll help. I think they need to reduce the fire chances of these things. I'm just saying, right? Reduce the fire chances and reduce the damage significantly, right? Because these things are still way overpowered, in my opinion. Harlem, also nerfed. Good. Nerf to the airstrike accuracy percentage. It goes from 66% to now 50% of those bombs hitting in the central aim point, right? Good. Nerf them all. Nerf them all. Yes, I am a Dutch cruiser hater, okay? I don't like these things. Indrich, also nerfed, getting the same nerf as the Harlem, right? That accuracy of the bombs hitting the central aim point decreased from 66% to now 50%. Yes. The Soviet destroyer, the Subaru, buffed. It is getting a buff to the torpedo range. It is going from 5 kilometers to now 6 kilometers. Buff to torpedo range increased or upgraded torpedo range. Well, you can get that to 8 kilometers. They added a repair party consumable, and they changed the order of consumables to be more consistent throughout the Soviet destroyer tech tree branch. Of course, you got your damage control party, repair party, engine boost, and smoke generator, right? I wish they would do this for all the ships. Make them to where it's the same button, right? Because next thing you know, you press down on the D-pad and you wanna pop your smoke or something, but now you're popping your radar. You're like, come on, man, come on. Okay, make it more consistent. I'm just saying. Okay, hey, I'm just saying. Soviet destroyer Voy getting a buff to the main battery reload time. That's going to now be 5 seconds. The stock torpedo range is now going to be 6 kilometers, but upgraded, you can get that to 8 kilometers. It's also going to get that repair party consumable, and they're going to change the order of the consumables throughout the Soviet destroyer tech tree line. Same thing they did with the Subaru. It's going to get everything in that order: damage control, repair party, engine boost, smoke generator. Replace the short range trait with exposed. So I guess these things will be seen from space, right? Or maybe it won't change nothing. They're just changing that one. I don't know what you call that. That one. What perk? I don't know. But here's an idea, right? Here's an idea for wargaming. Why don't they give the tier 7 and 8, okay, of these destroyers, why don't they give them the gunfire control system mod 2? That way we can get the extended range on our guns, right? That way we can play the Russian line, the rest of the Russian line, the same way we play the Kaaba, right? Why not? Where is that mod? Why does every other destroyer starting at tier 7 have that mod, right? Gunfire control system mod 2. Why doesn't the Soviet Union get that? Can someone explain that to me? And when you explain it to me as if I am 5 years old. Soviet destroyer Kiev also getting a massive buff to its armor. So this thing, I'm not going to read all of this because it's a lot. It's going to get that massive buff to everything, right? As far as its armor. So this thing is going to be pretty tanky. They're also going to replace frail with exposed. Soviet destroyer Nistroshimi. I hope I pronounced that right. Also getting a buff to the main battery reload time going from 4 seconds to 2.5 seconds. That seems like a pretty big buff. That's a pretty good buff there to the guns. It's also getting a buff to the torpedo reload time. That's going to be now 125 seconds, and you can upgrade that as low as, to 100 seconds. So this is going to be a pretty good ship, I think, with that buff to the main battery guns. Battleships: Leon, Gneisenau, Nagato, Sinop, North Carolina, Colorado, and Connecticut getting a buff to the armor. Standard at 26 millimeters for the bow, stern, and auxiliary plating. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I guess it's all the tier 6 battleships, I guess, or most of them, getting that much needed buff to the armor. Maybe now they stand a chance going up against tier 7. Probably not. We'll see. Commander Pascual Caveira Yitopet getting a buff, right? He's getting that third row, right? That third row right there. He's going to get strategic premonition, right? That's going to improve the ready rack reload by up to 16%, allowing the ready rack to reload one shell at a time if there are shells remaining. Okay, I guess, I'm not going to read the rest of that, but we'll kind of get the idea. Right? He's going to improve that the ready rack there. And, estuary, nerfed. Okay, it's not that you can't nerf the map, but we won't have to deal with the shrunken estuary when we're playing the high tier, right? Tier 7 and up, okay? I guess tier 5 and I guess through tier 5 and 6, I guess they're going to have to deal with that nonsense. But the high tier, we won't have to anymore, right? We won't have to anymore. And then there's the worst map in the game, right? The map Strait. I don't like that map. I hate that map. That too is also getting nerfed, okay? I guess tier 5 through 6, I guess, or tier 5 and 6, that's the highest you can go if you want to play on that map. Good. But they are adding fault line, I guess, for some reason. Fault line, I guess tier 7s will now be in fault line. I don't know about that. I don't know. It's something about those lower tier maps. I just feel like the high tier ships don't belong on those maps, right? They don't belong there. But yeah, that's all we got. That's about it. Tell me what you think. Are you excited for this update for some reason? To me, all they're going to do is resell some of these ships here. A lot of these ships, some of us already have. We're not going to be looking to buy the Black Friday version of it. But, Black Friday, you can get some really good deals on some of these crates. But again, you're going to be most likely unlocking ships you already have, but just in a different color. Okay, that's mainly all you're gonna see there. We are gonna get some new a new steel ship. I don't really care because I don't have the steel for it, as you can see. Okay, I'm nowhere near that amount. I still have no steel ships. Maybe now with this new rank system they're gonna have with us fighting against bots, maybe now I can collect a decent amount. How much are they gonna give me for all of that? What? 500? Come on, man. Come on. Wargaming, be more generous with the steel, okay? Now, you want to get these steel ships, in the hands of the players already. But yeah, hey, it's hard to do that when steel is so hard to come by, right? It's hard to come by. Also, we're getting that new it seems like a new British cruiser, Tier 7. What is that? I don't know. Yeah, Nottingham. Yeah, there it is. The Sheriff of Nottingham, right? What is that from? Robin Hood or something like that? But yeah, the Nottingham is that's going to be the next campaign ship. Seems like it's going to be a pretty good ship. Just your typical Tier 7 cruiser, Tier 7 British cruiser. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But hey, that's all I got. Tell me what you think. Leave your comment in the comment section. That's what it's for. But hey, thanks for watching.
Enemy cruiser sunk.